off as a musician. From there, I designed lots of music for Def Jam Japan, blah, 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 places. Transitioned to video games from there, then said, hey, I can make my own video game. Did that, and now I'm in VR somehow. So, I think a lot of people have that, falling into VR. It's kind of one of those things where we come from a lot of different walks of life. Anyway, let's start the show. So, I just want to tell you about what the landscape of advertising in VR looks like today. Yeah, so only 8% of brands actually intend to use virtual reality for advertising. And the reason why is because a lot of people still don't really know what VR is. We're in a bubble in San Francisco, and we're like, yeah, VR this, and Rick and Morty just came out with a VR thing, and Star Wars. I saw this, like nobody else has seen any of this. It's just us. It's us, maybe LA, and sometimes New York. And New York is just kind of starting. So a lot of people don't really know what's this VR thing. They think hardcore is the same as Vive. They think all kinds of different things for every relevant reason. Why are marketers so hesitant about VR? Well, there's 3 big reasons. And there they are. Small audience, high cost, and no measurable ROI. So the small market, if you take a look at the #1 most downloaded free game by Valve, the people that made Half-Life, the people that made Counter-Strike, the people that made Team Fortress, there's 506,272 activations total. So that means that if you had a Vive and you downloaded it onto Steam, that's how you actually turned it on. That's a drip in the bucket for just any kind of app, really. It is impressive if we talk about, HMDs, high-end HMDs, PC HMDs, but hey, they've technically sold over, 1.something million of these things? Why is it only a third of them downloaded the #1 most oldest, most talked about free application? Let's take a look at mobile. Maybe mobile is different. Well, you know what? Netflix is supposed to be the killer app for VR. That's what people were saying. Like, okay, well, now you can use your phone, watch a full screen movie. Yeah, so if we take a look, the last time they updated was in January. Compared to here, that's when I pretty much made this slide. And why haven't they dedicated that resource? Well, if you take a look at the installs, it's an exponential difference. It's 100,000 to 100 million. I'm guessing that on the VR side, it's probably closer to 100,000 than it is to 500,000. This is for Daydream, if you didn't know, Google Daydream. So that's the open platform. Does that mean that it's going to stay forever? Probably not. Daydream's rolling out, but for now, that's what the landscape looks like. High cost of development. Let's talk about that. By minimum, to develop something in VR, if I was a brand or advertiser, the absolute minimum that I'd have to spend is $50,000, probably, if not way more, if not $500,000. And the reason why are all these things, but programmers, not only do they need to know programming, but now it's interaction design, it's optimization of performance, it's all these different things. 3D artists, you can't get away with drawing half of it. You gotta draw the whole thing. You gotta draw everything. Creatives, there's like new project management things, branching narratives, interaction design, storytelling, spatial sound design. Okay, everything needs sound. Every environment needs a new reverb. Everything has to have that going on. Hardware's expensive, software's expensive, and no one owns a headset for marketing. So how do you even market it? You're still gonna need to make a trailer. You're still gonna need to make a 2D trailer to advertise your VR game. You can't just advertise there's no VR, advertising. So another thing is that no measurable ROI. The CPM model is dying in advertising, which means cost per mile. It's about every 1,000 impressions, how much you do. This is an old model that doesn't really work anymore, but that seems to be really the way that we can measure VR for right now. Because, if I was looking at my return on ad spend, VR doesn't really have a way to measure conversions and all these things that advertisers care about. You can't do a click, you can't do an install, and you can't do a purchase conversion. So all you have is a cost per mile, cost per impression model. And again, if you look at this thing, there really ain't that many people out there for a free Netflix, killer app. Why wouldn't everybody download this thing? All right. But you know what? There's still hope. I'm not trying to hear Mr. Doom Bringer. KFC, the hard way. Now this thing, I don't know if this will play. I doubt it. But if you haven't seen this yet, check this out. This came out a little while ago. KFC came out with basically this really strange training VR scenario. but it ended up being a viral marketing stunt that was actually an escape the room, kind of like Saw meets KFC. And this thing went viral. There's just millions of views. And there's millions of articles, and people are like, is this thing real? Is this thing not real? And you know what? When KFC actually releases this experience and you play it, you're going to remember KFC for quite a while. And I know that the first thing I did was buy some fried chicken. Second case here, SeaWorld. SeaWorld has 27 million views, 154,000 likes, 455,000 shares, 79,000 comments. And that's just from VR Scouts. That's just one viral video on Facebook that we pushed out there. And this thing got a ton of coverage. And it's just these people here riding a roller coaster with the headset on. And then you get kind of see like what they're kind of looking at, and you sell the dream, you sell the idea. So what's VR's real true value? It's the fact that you're able to teleport someone somewhere else. Don't ever forget that that is what VR is kind of here to be. That is what VR is supposed to be doing. So, what's really cool is not watching a bunch of 2D images in VR. It's not like using a calculator in VR. I couldn't give less of a crap unless it was really important. So, a couple of things with my company is that we're going to be doing a lot of tools that will basically allow something that I like to call experiential marketing. Things that measure things like, how are people looking at objects? How are people interacting with them? Are they thinking object A over object B? How do you even figure out what's your design? How is it being effective, right? There's not enough tools out there right now. And that's what we're kind of doing over here at VR. And we got all kinds of other stuff, like, I don't want to pitch our company too much, but here's some lessons to take away. The content must be viral worthy. If it's not a great idea, if it's not an idea, you're just like, haha, let me tell everybody I know. You know what, it might not get traction as an advertising medium. Not saying that you shouldn't be building anything that you want, but for advertising, it needs to really have that return on interest. You have to design for a captivating video trailer. And I know that's weird. I'm supposed to make a VR game so that we can shoot a video about it. Yes, that's exactly what it is right now, because you can then convince all these other use cases here. Well, we're gonna go viral. We're gonna do this, right? So because of that, you got to treat your VR user as if they were an actor rather than a player. You have to treat them as part of the experience. I'm performing for other people. And when you watch VR content, it should be actually more fun as a spectator to watch somebody doing VR than it is to actually even play it possibly. And that's something that a lot of people don't really realize when they design for VR. It's that one screen can service 10 people. Well, one headset can service one. And for advertising, the numbers are everything. So thanks. Ready for questions? Woo. 8 minutes, huh? All right, does anybody have any questions about anything? Okay.
What industry would you say is most likely going to invest in VR?
That's a really big question. I would say that the top industries that would invest in VR is medical. For medical, it makes so much sense. Telepresence for doctors, being able to service. Let's say that you needed a specialist that really needed to have a talk with a patient. That's really great for VR. Also, being able to take somebody away from the environment. I remember I was on a plane and I'm terrified of flying. I put on the VR headset when it takes off. And I'm doing like a trippy, like acid trip kind of magic carpet ride thing. That flight was the funniest thing. When I took it off, baby's crying, it's dark, everyone looks all nervous. Like I'd rather be in here. So other things is training, education, obviously gaming, social. There's a ton of other use cases, but those I think are the ones that are going to be really pushing it forward. And then AMC recently just did that whole deal where they're going to be putting a VR arcade in every AMC or something like that. So, hello, random audience member.
Question on what your company does. It sounds like you're working on the analytics side as well as content development and product placement. Are you doing all sides of advertising or just focusing on one area?
Sure, I know. It is quite a mouthful of what we do. Primarily what we do is try to alleviate So you know what Unity does? Unity kind of makes sure that, you know, when you're trying to make something, you don't have to rebuild the entire engine. It kind of comes with all kinds of different, you know, tools and things like that. What AdVR is trying to do is do that for the back end. So anything to do with dynamic object placement, let's say you wanted to have Christmas special without updating everybody, that's what we do. It's a turnkey solution. It's really easy. I love to talk about that later. I don't want to go everyone's time. So I'm not pitching my company, but yeah. Yeah. Anybody else have a question?
Yep. So, do you think ads in VR would go towards product placement in movies?
We're actually, so I'm part of the IAB, and we're officially not allowed to even put those two things together. So product placement only makes up about, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but less than 10% of ad spend, which is not really a huge market. And the reason why is because the effectiveness is just proving, it's hard to measure that. It's hard to measure exactly what's going on. I think with VR, it's quite different. So yes, we do this dynamic object placement kind of thing, but a little difference that we do is that when you interact with this object, you can pick it up and you can play with it, you can put it to your mind, we can teleport you into another Unity scene, we can do all this kind of thing, and it really takes somebody into somewhere else. And that is not a product placement in my opinion. I think product placement is kind of lazy, to be honest with you, if that's what you're doing for just VR. I mean, this is VR. We're talking about being in another dimension. Let's think outside the box a little bit.
So you talked about how a big reason why you don't see more advertising in VR is the lack of data capture and like kind of seeing what you're getting for your money. Do you feel, or do you think, you know, in your opinion, if that data analytics and that data capture evolves so you can see more of like the kind of user engagement you're getting with these advertising, that we would be seeing more advertising with VR?
Absolutely. I think the number one thing is reach. Reach is so small, costs are so high. So I can give you an example. I'm not going to name any names, but there happened to be some product there representing some big brand that's on the Steam page right now. That thing, I have information that it cost over $1.1 million to make. Last I checked, it was $10,000. Yeah. So if you can do a calculation on that, it's somebody's fired. And yeah, being able to measure experiential things, being able to see how engaged people are, I think that's going to be really critical because, you know, at that point, we're actually taking focus groups. We're actually taking these kind of like, interesting data, anonymized, we don't find out who it is, but how do people interact with our brand? How do people interact with, our experiences? These are really the key things that I think that would help advertisers understand how to use VR as an advertising medium, and things like that, so. Yeah. Anybody else?
I see. So I have a question, kind of more technical about poly budgets. So if you're introducing branded experiences into someone else's, say, turnkey solution for them, do you ever have intense conversations about how much of the rendering time you're taking with the advertising?
So your question is basically how much time do you spend? So let's say that it's like a 30-second ad, right, or something like that, or?
No, if you can only put 10,000 polys in the scene, you're going to take 20,000. People get nervous about the amount of.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, what we do is we kind of vet everything for now until we figure out exactly what's something acceptable, the hardware is involving, and everything like that. So I think that's a question for 2017. In 2020, maybe it won't matter anymore. I don't know. But anyway, thanks a lot.